Here's a quick reality check. The market in Myrtle Beach is not doing what most people think it's doing. And the newest data just flipped the script again. Some parts are heating up, some parts are cooling down. And one segment is basically begging buyers to make an offer. We pulled in real numbers for you so you don't have to guess. And if you're relocating, selling, or trying to time a new construction purchase, this breakdown will show you exactly where the opportunities are right now. So stick around because I'm about to show you what housing experts are saying about a potential housing crash. All right, so the market down here in the Myrtle Beach area is one of those markets where it's totally different from New York. So when I did real estate in New York, it was only one market, right? There were no really condos or townhomes or new construction. It was mostly resale. Well, down here, we have three markets and they're all acting in different ways, right? And one is taking advantage of the other, so to speak, right? So in this video, we're going to be going over all that, right? And we're also going to discuss about what the analyst is saying about a potential crash in the housing market. But we're going to dig down deep in these stats. Again, they don't call me the stat rat for nothing, right? So I really like to do these videos from time to time only because I get emails all the time, people asking me, how's the market down there? Is the market different from, San Diego? Is it different from Texas? Is it different from Florida? Is it different from New York? It is totally different. It's a totally different animal here. And if you're reading the headlines about how the housing market is doing, well, let me tell you, down here, it is totally different. And I'm going to explain why. So we're going to get into it right now. And so here's a quick snapshot of what's going on in the market right now. So the median sale price for a property down here overall, we're covering townhomes, condos, new construction, resale homes. So the median price point with all that, we're sitting at $239,000. That's the median price point here. But for single family homes, now if we look at single family homes, they stand between $328,000 and $385,000. So homes, single family homes are much higher than the condo homes. The condos are sitting at between 228 and 240. And we're going to be discussing which one of these markets actually are begging for buyers to make an offer. And we're going to be discussing that in a couple of slides here. But what does this mean basically for you if you're looking to purchase down here, if you're looking to sell? As we mentioned, different parts of the market down here in Myrtle Beach are acting differently. Single family homes are holding steady because many people still want them. Condos, though, are slowing down by a lot. If you saw my last market video, you know that I spoke about the month supply of homes, which you're going to be discussing here in a second here for condos. And there might be an opportunity there if you're looking to invest in a second home or a vacation home or an investment property down here. We're going to be discussing that in the next couple of slides. So now let's talk about the sales activity down here and how down here we're rising, right? The sales activity down here has been rising. I know realtors from across the country, and some of them, real estate's hyper local, right? It depends where you're located, where you're selling homes, what areas you're selling homes at. Well, there are actually metros that are seeing a decline in home sales. Well, here may be a different story depending on which segment of the market, right? So when I speak to realtors from across the country, they tell me, wow, it's pretty slow here. Homes are staying on the market, over 6 months, over 5 months. So with that being said, I wanted to show you the actual sales activity here and what the stats are saying, right? So if we look at single family pending sales right now, it is at plus 24% year over year. And condo pending sales are at 21% year over year. And you'll see why that number tells me that a lot of people are taking advantage of this particular segment and why they are taking advantage of that particular segment. And I'm going to explain that to you in a second here. But anyway, the closed transaction are at plus 10% overall growth for the year-over-year trend, right? So the real estate market here is trending upwards here in the last, typically in other parts of the country, for instance, places like New York, this time of the year tends to slow down a bit, right? Well, not here. Home sales down here are ramping up. Demand has been steadily climbing as economic conditions improve. Buyers who sat on the sideline during the high interest rate environment during 2023 and 2024 are now re-entering the market down here. And those that are thinking about retiring and relocating or getting, starting to work from home are deciding to venture down here because of the cost of living. And that is also something that's motivating this high trend here. If you know about the seasonality of real estate, you know that this time of the year, it tends to slow down because of Thanksgiving, the holidays, New Year's, Christmas, New Year's, and ramps up again sometime in January, February, and March. Well, down here, the growth has been amazing. And we're going to explain that to you in the next couple of slides. But just know that activity here has been up exponentially year over year. And I'm going to explain to you in a second, as I mentioned, the reason why. All right, so now let's take a look at the days on market and the pace of the sale down here. So in Myrtle Beach right now, the average days on market is about 103 days, and that's covering all the markets, right? As I mentioned, we have multiple markets down here. We have the condo market, we have the townhouse and condo market, we have the resale market, we have the new construction market, and there's one market in this area that's really pumping that number a little bit higher, and it's probably the condo market, right? Because in the next couple of slides, you're going to see what I'm talking about and how much inventory we have in the condo market. But anyway, when you compare that statewide in South Carolina, the market is at 70 days, right? 75 days on market. But with that being said, homes are still selling, as you saw in my previous slides. They're only taking a bit longer in certain segments of the market. The average time on market, as I mentioned, 103 days compared to 75 days statewide. And again, this is not a bad sign. It just shows how our market is working down here. Myrtle Beach brings in many different kind of buyers. You have those that are looking to live here full time. You have those that are looking for vacation homes. You have those that want to invest. Each of those groups are moving at a different pace. They have different reasons for purchasing, right? So that extra time on market helps the buyer make a smart decision. Overall, they feel like they're not being rushed, right? But the key takeaway here is that the market is not a stagnant market down here. It is a measured one with well-priced, well-presented homes still moving efficiently. Now let's look at the inventory levels, or the month's supply of homes. And as you know, when you're talking about supply and demand, that's what really is the driving force for appreciation or depreciation. So the definition of the month supply of homes, in case you don't know, it's one of those key metrics that is used in real estate to show how long it would take to sell all the current inventory at the present sales volume. So with that being said, when we're looking at the month supply of single family homes, that's including the resale market and the new construction market, we're sitting at 3.8% month supply of inventory. So what does that mean? Typically, anything under 6 months would be considered a seller's market. Anything at 6 months is considered a neutral market where the buyer or seller don't have the advantage, and anything over 6 months would be considered a buyer's market. So with that being said, as I mentioned, with resale homes and new construction, single family homes, we're sitting at 3.8. So we are in a seller's market, right? When you take both of those as a whole. And before we go into the condo market, I wanted to show you the difference between new construction and resale. So when we're looking at single family homes for the entirety, we're talking about resale and new construction. Again, as I mentioned, we're sitting at 3.8%. 3.8 months supply of homes. But when I click on the previously owned, their previously owned or resale are sitting at 4.8 months supply of inventory. So as I mentioned in the opening, if you're looking to buy resale or if you're looking to sell resale, just know that you cannot price your home like we're sitting pre-COVID or at the COVID levels, right? Because your home's going to sit on the market a lot longer. So you have to price it strategically, right? But if you're looking to purchase a resale home, you're going to have some wiggle room, even though we are still typically in a buyer's market. In a seller's market at 4.8 months because it's under that 6 months, right? But when we look at new construction, and here's why you have to be more strategic if you're looking to resell, or you can negotiate as a buyer if you're looking to buy a resale home. There are some gems out there, right? If we look at the new construction months of inventory, they're sitting at 2.8 months of inventory, right? So just know that new construction, they can control supply. And when we're talking about supply and demand, if you can control the supply, right, you can control the demand. So they don't just build homes just to build them. They build a couple of homes, sell them, and then they build some more, right? So they have control of the inventory. So that's why right now, I'm going to show you in a couple of slides why right now may be the best time to buy new construction. It's in some instances, it's a no-brainer when it comes to that. But I just wanted to show you the key difference between the resale and new construction and how one is beating the other. Where we're looking at new construction, they're kind of cannibalizing the resale market, right? They're forcing the resale market to stay on the market a lot longer because of the incentives that I'm about to talk about in a second in a couple of slides. But before we get to that, I wanted to show you the month supply of inventory for condos. And this is the one I was talking in the opening, in the intro, where I said they're begging for buyers to come and make an offer, right? You have condos that are sitting on the market for over 7 months. So they are deep in a buyer's market. So if you are an investor and or you're looking to buy a vacation home, this may be the time to pull the trigger. Again, you're going to have a lot to choose from, and you're going to be able to negotiate the price on those condos. So that's something that you have to take into consideration when you're looking to buy condos down here, is that now may be the time to strike, right? You want to buy at the bottom. And I think this is the bottom, to be honest with you, because last time I did a market report, they were sitting over 8 months. So the supply has come down a bit. So it may be trending. We may be trending back to a buyer's market in a year or so, depending on how the economy reacts to the Fed's lowering the interest rates. But with that being said, in the next couple of slides, all this is going to come together and it's going to make so much sense. All right, so now let's talk about the mortgage rates, right? And depending on what the Fed does in the next couple of months with the interest rates and all that, just know that the Fed's interest rates doesn't have a direct correlation with the mortgage rates, but they do have an effect, right? So with that being said, right now, the current rate is between 6.0 and 6.29 for a 30-year fixed mortgage. This is representing the lowest level in 3 years, right? So that's really creating an affordability shift for buyers who have been sitting on the sideline and waiting for those rates to come down from 7%. But with that being said, just know that down here, because of new construction and the incentives that I'm about to show you in the next couple of slides that they're offering, the interest rates doesn't really matter down here for new construction. But if you're looking to buy a resale, it's a different ball game, right? Because typically homeowners who are reselling their home cannot offer those kind of incentives that new constructions can offer, right? But anyway, going back to the impact of the lowest interest rates in 3 years, that's a real saving. So for when you're coming down from 7.5% to 6% on a $300,000 home, that saving is approximately $280 per month, right? So you're saving $280 per month, and annually you're saving over $3,000 over a year, right? So again, the lower interest rates has a huge market effect on buyers. Buyers are returning to this market down here in particular because overall, although 6% may be higher than what some new construction builders are offering, if you're buying a resale, just know that the cost of living down here, which is driving the migration down here, is a lot affordable. I mean, we're sitting, I believe, at 96%, below the national average, and that's huge, right? When you places like New York, they're sitting at about 150 above the national average. So that's why people from up north are moving down here, because of the affordability, the cost of living, and all that good stuff. So now let's look at the new construction landscape. And before we get to that, I just want to remind you, you can download our new construction guide. It's 29 pages of vital information to help you navigate the new construction market. I'm going to say 95% of our clients are all buying new construction at this point in time. And this slide is going to tell you why. But anyway, scan that QR code right there on your screen, or follow the link in the description below. The link is down there, right down there, so you can download that guide today. But anyway, when we're looking at new construction here, the price ranges anywhere between $324,000 to about $660,000. In some cases, if you go to the outskirts of places like Longs, Anor, you could get a new construction home as low as $270,000. If you watched our videos on YouTube, there is a community out there in Longs that we visited, and they're selling a new construction home at $270,000. Really nice home if you're looking for something to downsize or whatever. But with that being said, the builders down here are kind of cannibalizing the other markets, whether it's the resale or the condo market, because right now, this time of year is when they offer the best incentives. The builders are offering anything from buy down rates, right? So they buy the rates down for you. They can do a 2-1 buy down, or they can offer you a fixed rate at as low as 3.8% with certain builders. So if you want to know which builders are offering the best incentives right now, we get emails, texts, we get phone calls. All you got to do is just give us a call, shoot us an email, schedule your one-on-one Zoom call with us, and we'll run you through that whole process. We'll show you which builder are the most cost-effective builders out there currently. But just know that new construction, the market down here is blowing up because of the fact that they can offer the best incentives. And as I mentioned in my previous slide, they can control the inventory. They can control the demand. And for instance, I bought this home that I'm currently living in towards the end of the year in November. And let me tell you, last year, I'm talking about last year, we got the best deal. In fact, when they appraised my home, it appraised for $10,000 more than what I paid for. And I get the best interest rates and closing costs. So if you're looking to purchase, now may be the best time. And sometimes the beginning of next year is also, if certain builders can't clear the inventory that they wanted to clear towards the end of this year, that first month in January of the new year may be an optimal time to purchase as well, because you're going to have some builders that are going to try to continue to move inventory for the following quarter, right? So with that being said, if you're looking for new construction, just know that what matters is that new construction is just no longer for buyers wanting a new home. It's financially competitive option that demands consideration in any home search. So if you're looking to, buy something that's financially, that financially makes sense, new construction may be the way. Honestly, as I mentioned, 95% of our clients have bought new construction down here in the Myrtle Beach area. So now let's look at the migration data, right, for Myrtle Beach. In the last year and a half, we've helped over 75 families relocate to the area here. And there's a reason why, right? So when we're looking at the top ranked destinations in the U.S., Myrtle Beach ranks #1 in the U.S. for inbound moves. According to recent migration data, the metro area population grew by 3.8%, right? Significantly outpacing the national average. So where are these people coming from? Well, most of my clients are coming from up north, places like New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, in fact, even Ohio, to be honest with you. But one that is always shocking is when we get phone calls from people from Florida who are looking to escape Florida and come to Myrtle Beach because of the cost of living. So that's what's driving the migration here, is ultimately the cost of living. It's much more affordable than places like Florida right now. Florida is becoming a very expensive destination. We've helped relocate about 5 families from Florida recently in the last year, looking to move up here because of the insurance and property taxes. Right down in Myrtle Beach, we have the most affordable property taxes in the country. So the long-term impact is sustained migration equals sustained demand. Unlike markets dependent on local economy cycles, Myrtle Beach benefits from continuous population influx, providing price stability and reduce of crash risk. So this isn't a short-term trend. Remote work normalization, retiree relocation, and business expansion down here in the area continues to fuel the inbound migration. For sellers, it means that it's a constant pipeline of motivated buyers looking for long-term appreciation and potential. And those investors looking for rental income is going to provide a stable housing market here going forward. So what can we expect for 2026? So what are the experts saying right now? Mortgage rates are going to hover in the low 6s, right? Depends on what the Feds are going to do, how the economy continues to recover. But just know that's what they're expecting. I have a feeling they might get down to the to the high 5s, right? So I'm thinking about 5.8, but that's my guess. I'm not an expert in all that, so just know that's my feeling. And if I'm correct, I will let you know in future videos. But anyway, that's what they're projecting. And the price growth, we're looking between 1% to 3% nationally. So we're going to have modest appreciation throughout. And when we're talking about sales volume of existing home sales, they're projected to rise between 3 and 4% as inventory normalizes. And so we're entering a slow recovery after the 2022-2024 price correction period, right? So across the board, experts are predicting that there will not be a housing crash. So if you've been waiting for a housing crash to jump in the market, just know that you're going to have to wait a lot longer because the market is not expecting to crash. Also, with that being said, they are projecting that we're going to be hitting a more balanced market. I think that between 2020 and 2022, it kind of threw the housing market for a loop because of COVID, right? COVID, homes shot up in price. So now we're seeing we're seeing that recovery phase now. So that's why a lot of the experts are predicting that there's going to be a gradual price correction, and it's not going to be a crash. So the bottom line is this. This is a sustainable market environment, ideal for long-term ownership. So if you're looking to flip, might not be ideal for you if you're a house flipper. Depends on your market. I know that house flipping can be a little bit difficult, and it can be, just like real estate, hyper local. But with that being said, timing the absolute bottom or top matters less than making an informed decision at the end of the day, right, for you and your family. So what are your next step as a buyer and a seller in this market? So for one thing, for buyers, more inventory obviously is going to give you more options to choose from and more negotiating power, especially in the condo market. The condo market, we're at 7.8 supply of inventory of homes, giving you more leverage when it comes to presenting an offer. And you're also going to have, coming in 2026, according to the experts, more affordability as interest rates are going to hover in the low 6s from its high of 7.5%, right? And hopefully hover over the high 5s. If my prediction comes true, that would be amazing. But anyway, that's where the real saving is going to come in, is in new construction. If you're looking for new construction, that is by far the best value right now in the Myrtle Beach area, because of their buying program. The builders programs cannot be beat right now, in particular with the closing costs towards the end of the year. They're offering closing costs, really low interest rates. So if that's something you're looking to get into, make sure you contact us. Jump on your one-on-one Zoom call so we can compare builders and incentives with you on a one-on-one basis. Not only that, but we'll share our computer screen with you. We'll map out the whole move for you with our map tours to figure out the perfect area, the perfect community for you and the lifestyle you're looking to live down here. So what does this mean for sellers? Well, for sellers, for one thing, if you price your home correctly down here, you will sell it really quickly here. If you own a single family home, just know that the limited supply of homes, you're still in a seller's market, quote unquote. But again, you have to market it correctly. You have to price it accordingly. This is not 2020 where you can price it really high and you'll still get multiple offers. We are far from those days. So presentation matters, marketing matters. So if you're looking for someone to market your home and sell it quickly, make sure you contact us as well. We can help you in those areas as well. And don't forget, if you love this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you love this video and if you love new construction, make sure you watch this playlist right here popping up on your screen right now.